We're all going to lose our jobs, right? That's what the news has been saying about marketing and a lot of other career paths when it comes to AI coming in and dominating all the industries. We've all seen the headlines, but it makes you wonder as a marketer, what could I possibly be doing now in order to prepare for that like job apocalypse that's coming, provided that it comes at all? Well, I've been thinking deeply and talking to lots of different people, even debating back and forth with ChatGPT on what those core things are that AI will never be able to do, or at least be. So, in this episode, I wanted to give you this new framework that I've been working on that I think is going to become essential for standing out as a marketer in this new age of AI called the Human Edge Framework. Let's dive into it. Welcome back to the AI Driven Marketer. I'm Dan Sanchez. My friends call me Danchez. And I think it's going to be more important to get down to the fundamentals of what makes us human and what makes us different than just the choices that we make guiding a marketing strategy. So I find this framework is going to be really helpful as you build brands, but also is going to be more important for you as a person, as an individual marketer in your team or out consulting or out freelancing or doing whatever you're doing it is as a marketer in order to stay competitive in this upcoming landscape. So these are all things that take time. They are not easy. They are not easy, which is why we need it to not be easy, because if it's easy, then everybody can do it. But if you want to have a deep, sustainable advantage, let's talk about the things that AI can't replicate easily and that it makes it harder for a 16-year-old with an advanced version of ChatGPT to rip off or replicate in any way. So I'm going to open up a graphic. If you're following along with me audibly, then just know that it's a really simple graphic. I'm going to be revealing pillar for pillar and the foundation of what's holding up a roof called AI systems, because I think all future marketing systems are going to be AI. And this is going to uncover the Human Edge framework that has 3 pillars, 1 foundation, in order to lift up all our AI systems, right? Because it's all going to be AI driven in the future, hence the name of this whole show. So I'm going to be talking about it step by step, and I'm just going to be walking through them, but you'll be able to understand everything audibly. But of course, it's always nice to have a visual, so join me over on YouTube if you want to see the video. So let's dive into it. The first thing I want to cover is that there is one thing that these 3 pillars stand on that is the most important part. It's the one thing AI could never do for you. And it doesn't matter how good you are with AI and how smart AI ever gets. It could even be a super intelligence with more intelligence than the whole human race combined of all history, and it still wouldn't be able to do this one thing. And that is determine your core beliefs. Yes, your core beliefs, the things you believe to be true about the world, AI cannot do for you. It can theorize, it can come up, it can probably even, if you talk to ChatGPT enough, it can be like, you can ask it what your core beliefs are, and it'd probably be able to call a few out, but it can't determine those for you. The reason why that's important as a marketer, it's important for a lot of reasons, right, in life, but even in marketing, it's really important because if you think about what the essence of a brand is just the collection of values down deep in the center. It's the foundation for what makes a good brand a brand. In fact, if you think about Nike, they have some core values or some core beliefs that just make them different from everybody else, right? And it's those core beliefs that translate into their language and their messaging. It's what translates into the visuals and the icons and the photos and the movement and the things they put into their brand. In fact, the little swoosh is meaningless in and of itself. Sure, it's aesthetically pleasing, but the swoosh is just a symbolic representation of the beliefs down deep. In fact, if you look at the Christian cross, whether you're religious or not, those 2 little simple lines mean a lot, not in and of themselves, but because there's a whole belief system unpacked in those 2 simple lines crossing each other. All brands have strong beliefs underneath, or at least the good brands do. Hyatt Hotel, not a great brand, because you're like, what do they stand for? What do they believe? What's different about them? It's hard to put it down, right? which is why Nike has a much stronger brand than Hyatt Hotels, right? You can't imagine what Hyatt Hotels would look like on a sneaker, but you can imagine what Nike would look like in a hotel, is like the classic comparison I give to a strong brand, weak brand. So your core beliefs determine who you are and can get infused and not only into your personal brand, but into the brands that you work for. This matters a lot, and this takes a lot of soul searching to do, and is one of those things that a lot of people will nod their heads on, right? You're probably hearing this and being like, oh, okay. I mean, some marketers are probably like, wait, what? And some marketers are like, yep, that's totally the essence of a brand. Um, but while you're nodding your head with it, you might just skim past it, go by it, and not actually realize and put in the work that's needed in order to come up with a very strong foundation for everything else to sit on. And I put this as the foundation. It is not a pillar. It is a foundation that everything else stands on. But if you can lock it in, if you can have strong beliefs that are different, that are unique, and they don't even have to be unique. They could just be, it could be a general strong belief system. Of course, the more unique they are, the easier it is to stand out. But if you give that to AI, AI can extrapolate from it and build something more substantial from it. I find it's really helpful if I'm working with somebody to build their AI profile. If they've already written a book, because chances are if they've written a book, they've already articulated their core beliefs into existence through writing the pages of the book. I can upload the book to ChatGPT as a custom GPT and be like, hey, what are the core beliefs said in this book? And it can actually name them and pull them out. It makes it so much easier to build a brand that is based on something more substantial, to keep the AI in line to where your vision of what truth actually is. So 5 years from now, a 16-year-old who's got a lot of motivation and is armed with ChatGPT, this super intelligence in their pocket, well, they can't just make that up. It's something that comes from wrestling over time with what truth is, and then building on top of it the messaging and the language and even the visuals that stem out of those beliefs, because that's what a brand is. And those brands aren't made easily. They're made over time through deep, even pain and wrestling and figuring out what the truth actually is, which is why this is the foundation. It's actually the hardest one to do, but it's what AI can't determine, because AI doesn't have a belief system. It can replicate belief systems. It can explain belief systems. It could probably just make some up. But at the end of the day, it's not a person, and it doesn't have a belief system in and of itself. It is agnostic and is a tool that can go either which way. Humans are different for that very reason, and that's something we need to maximize now, wrestle with now, in order to build our AI-driven systems off of this particular foundation. So with that said, let's move on to number 2, and that is a personal brand. But it goes even deeper than just a personal brand, because again, it's stacked on core beliefs. It's actually something AI can't do by nature, is that it is artificial. We are not artificial. We have something called personhood. And this is kind of getting philosophical in a way, but it kind of has to, because like AI will be so good someday that it'll be able to rip off all your advanced strategies, all your frameworks. It can have a lot of conversations with people and replicate and predict what they're going to want. So what do we have left? Well, we have the things that AI can't do, and AI can never be a person. In the future, the information overload will be even greater, and people will want to turn to sources of truth that probably aren't AI. They will want to turn to people, established authorities, not fake people, but real people they know are real for a fact and whose information they can trust. So this whole idea of a personal brand, of a person, a real live person based on core values that they have and are unmoving in, is going to be a very, very big deal. But this, again, a personal brand isn't built easily. Like, a personal brand takes time to establish authority for people to follow. I think this will become an even greater asset in the future as we begin to see influencers pop up who are AI machines, right? And we have all these different characters interacting with us on a day-to-day basis. There's going to be a significant shift towards personal human brands, and I think there will be a lot of influential artificial persons out there that are swaying the masses, but at the same time, a lot of people will still gravitate towards the human ones, because AI can get hacked and change on a dime. Like, it's accurate, but it's not based on a real person. And I think a lot of people are going to crave it. I think it's going to be a unique thing. It's going to be a unique thing as a marketer, and even creating brands with a lot of unique individuals within it to represent that brand as evangelists or personalities of a kind. I think that's going to be a major advantage going forward that AI can never take away, because AI at the end of the day can never be human. Let's move into our second pillar, which is relational capital. Yes, I think ChatGPT and the AIs out there will be able to build these artificial relationships, but it'll never take the place of building human to human relationships. It can never do it. And this becomes a strength in our favor. Relationships are hard, really hard. In fact, I find I'm in a lot of conversations where people glorify and talk about the power of community. But when it comes down to it, community is really hard. And you know it's really hard when you're having problems and conflicts in community because, people are hard to work with sometimes. We all know it. We've all faced it. But most of the time, people, instead of working through their conflicts, just depart or separate themselves. The work of community is working through those things and building the strong relationships over time. And I certainly know a few people in my mind that come to the top of the list who have had relationships, built relationships, worked through conflicts and relationships, and have built a strong community. So yeah, you could put a lot of things into this pillar. It could be an audience of real relationships. It could be, you could call that a community. We could just call it relationship marketing. We can call it networking. It's kind of a cringy term, but yeah, all those things, essentially building real relationships, friendships, people who trust other people and know really well. We know a lot of business is done off the back of relationships because it's off the back of trust, and that's not going to go away. ChatGPT and all the other AIs won't be able to replicate that in the way that humans can do that. So start building relationships, especially ones who share the values that you share, right? This is where it starts to stack, and that's why core beliefs is so important, is because it's through relationships that we can share values and strengthen our values that make us unique and actually keep us grounded. And lastly, discernment and taste. AI will be able to predict things going forward, but it will only be predicting what humans have a natural discernment or taste for, right? So when it comes to trends of what's going to happen or what's going to be liked by other humans, sure, AIs will be able to look at the algorithm and predict that, but they're really predicting what humans are already catching on to naturally. And I still think humans will be the tastemakers of what's cool, of what's working, of what's going to pop on things like social media or email or stand out to other humans. Also discernment in a level of we have to look at AI systems and discern oh, this one, not that one. And I think that will always be the case. Right now, ChatGPT can do a lot, but it takes my own personal discernment as a marketer to partner with it in order to produce the best results. And I think that will only continue to be a major factor as we work with AI systems. So again, as you look at this framework, we have AI systems as the roof on top. Everything's going to be AI driven. We have the pillars of discernment and taste, relational capital, and personal brand all stacked on top of core beliefs. All these things work together that can help AI significantly produce better results with the marketing campaigns and the strategies and whatever comes out in the future. It's all these things that AI can't replicate. So they're worth honing and working on and wrestling with now so that we can become more competitive and build a human moat around our personal brands as marketers, but also around the brands we're actually doing marketing work for now in order to stand out against its competitors in the future. Hopefully this episode has been helpful to you. If it has, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts or YouTube or wherever you're listening to this podcast. Give it the star rating you think it deserves. And if you haven't already, go and check out my free 5-day course on how to go from zero to hero with AI. If you're a beginner, this will make you an intermediate AI marketer in a matter of 5 days. There are 5 free videos that you can watch to take you up the levels and get you started with just being a beginner with ChatGPT to building custom GPTs, even advanced ones, in a very short amount of time. If you haven't taken this course yet, check it out. It's even customized with AI. I think you'll find that part intriguing. But you can go find it at danchez.com/course.